Hey everybody, this is Grace. I want to talk about having some of the weirdest things happen to me. Okay. If I believed in luck, I would say I have the worst luck. Or, if it weren't for bad luck, what was that, a song from Hee Haw or something? Something like that, I don't know. That was a long time ago. But yeah, just the weirdest things, and I don't know. Here's an example of what happened today. Okay, I think I mentioned that on this channel, some of this, about, besides the bump on the head because of the dog, and now I have a permanent scar on my forehead, permanent indentation. Okay. And then the door on my SUV slammed against my leg, and it's weird. But here's something that happened. Okay, it's a little over a month ago. A month and a week, I'd say. I got put on insulin, which is good. Okay, which is a good thing. I'm type 2, and I've been type 2 for over half of my life, which I was told one time. I'm not a healthcare professional, by the way, so don't take any of this as any kind of advice or anything. I have a rare health condition, so it wouldn't be the same for anybody. It's so rare, it's something like 10 to 15 in a million. Yeah, in a million people have it. Okay, and then I've had a doctor tell me once before that that a healthcare professional would see maybe one case of this in their life. It was life. It wasn't in their career. It was life. I haven't seen anybody. I haven't known anybody to have it. But so what works for other people doesn't always work for me. Even things like medications, here's the dosage they usually give. For me, sometimes it's half of that. Okay. Different things like that. Some medications I can't take at all. I have a bad reaction to them. Boy, will I ever have bad reactions to them. I mean, I'm sure many people have bad reactions, but for me, it's a lot. Okay. To me, it's a lot of different ones. Anyway, so about today. Well, okay, like I said, about a week ago, 5 to 6 weeks ago, got put on insulin. One thing that happened, I was very leery, and I've learned this for my health condition, is to start off slow. Like I was, don't just start off the full dose right away. Like I'm supposed to take it twice a day. They did. They injected me in the office. I wanted them to train me, and of course, she did it so fast. And so wait, I wanted to be the one to do it. And where she showed me to put it, I'm like, really? I don't know more than the health, care professionals. I am not a healthcare professional, and I don't claim to be knowing more than they. Period. That's in, full stop. But the thing was, okay, I can't help but not say but or however or something like that. I have been around diabetics, and she the one that did that, she didn't even know something about the insulin that I had, that they had prescribed. So when it casts doubt on it, yeah, okay. So anyway, and that was that particular one, there was something different than other ones, apparently. Okay, so I'm not gonna say what it was. Anyway, so she showed me, she did the injection. I said, I was just shocked because I've been around diabetics for my whole life. Well, my dad was diabetic, and he was before I was born. He passed away in the 1990s, and then my mother she passed away in 2014 or something like that. And so I've known it pretty much all my life about diabetics, and where they are told to inject their insulin. It's always the same. Okay. Now we know, I'm a little bit different. I'm just like, my body's like other people, but it's different at the same time in the way it responds. So I thought maybe she knew something, but apparently not, when she told me to inject it in that spot. Did you rotate it and all this stuff? And I said, nowhere else? No. okay, apparently she was wrong. It took me calling various people, like pharmacies, two different pharmacies. It was stretched out over this time because one of the first things that happened was I got the worst backache I have ever had in my life. Worst pain, I could say, except, you know, it would just say worst pain for no reason. It seemed to me no reason, except I knew that I had pushed and pulled a box, and later on that day I pushed it again and pulled, push, pull, yeah, something like that, pushed it again. And it was full of papers, you know, printouts and such. It was heavy, but I didn't pick it up. I just pushed it, you know, and pulled it toward me. Anyway, and that's the only thing I could think. It was the day before that I got this horrible backache that I could not stand up, I could not sit down, and I could not lie down. Think about those. What's left? Well, I figured it out because it was so painful that I was still in pain, but I could lean. Okay, and I basically was leaning over the island in our kitchen, and you know, with my bracing myself with my hands, you know, flat on the island. It was awful. It was awful pain, and like I said, never before. And it wasn't, luckily it didn't continue or I would have been in the hospital. It was just there for just a little bit, then I could move around, but I had a hard time standing up and all that. Anyway, so I was kind of worried, was it associated with this? You know, I've learned over all these years, plus I'm trained in research. I learned all these years to take it slow, you know, don't take the full dosage and all that of anything, to just test it out. Don't take two new things at the same time. This is for me, not for anybody else, like I said. I'm not telling you yes or no. This is for you or not is for you. It's just, this is about me with this rare health condition. So anyway, I have to do that, and because of my rare health condition. And so I stopped taking it for a few days, and I have consulted. Well, that time I consulted nobody. I couldn't move. Well, I can move, but yeah, I don't know if I did call the doctor at that time or the pharmacist or whatever it was, when it was I did. But anyway, I told the pharmacist where they had me injected. He said, that's okay. And I'm thinking, something's not right here. And it was something's not right there. As I found out today, finally. It was all wrong. All of it. And then part of it is because of my health condition. And I just can leave it there. It's because of my health condition that it was all wrong where they had me injecting it. And so today when I injected it, it hurt so bad. And not so bad. It just had, it wasn't like the bee sting like one of the pharmacists said. No, it was, I had to lie down. So anyway, so now I know where I'm supposed to inject it. Finally, and yes, they were wrong. So, and I actually spoke to the doctor's office. I don't know if it's the same woman this time, but maybe she got a clue, or if it was her or not. They don't introduce themselves. They don't say their names. They don't say their titles. And that's not just them. Any place I've ever been to, they do not tell anywhere around here. Plus, when I first called the first time about it, they rush through everything. Like I said, the doctor's appointments are about 2 minutes. That's about all the time, is about 2 minutes. And I've consistently asked to see the doctor, and consistently I get there and it's the nurse practitioner. I wonder if the doctor actually works there. And that's not the only place. I'm serious. It's not the only place. And I've questioned this for years at different places. Where's the doctor? Okay, where is the doctor? So, and when you pay out of pocket, when you're self-pay, as they call it, yeah, I want to see a doctor. Good luck with that. Anyway, and it's difficult even to get things like diabetes training classes. I'm serious, to get any kind of information out of them. Referral to an endocrinologist wound up with them sending me to someone who was very different than what I needed, and they didn't even tell me that they were very different. They didn't even get the images they were supposed to get from the hospital before my appointment, as they were supposed to. It's like paying out of pocket too. It's a big waste of time, money, and all that. Now, one of my sisters I spoke to not too long ago, let's say a couple weeks ago, I told her some of that, and she said, I would not stand for that. Well, she doesn't live here. Okay, she doesn't live in this area. And I have seriously considered and actually thought about it to the point where I was going to do it at one point. And that was to go outside of the whole Dallas area to go see a doctor. Outside of here, and that doctor. But what I found out was many of the doctors lived outside of here, outside of the DFW. Well, I'd say the Dallas metro, and I'm in a suburb north of Dallas, just to go far outside this whole bit. But I found out that they live out there, and they have practices out there, but they come inside of the this metro area to also practice. You know, so I'd have to travel pretty far, which I could go all the way to my sister's. You know, she's like 3 hours away. Maybe then I'd find a doctor that, and she said that her appointments are usually 30 minutes to 45 minutes, and they still ask, you know, do you have any more questions? Yeah, feel free to ask. You know, this kind of thing. So, mine, in my area, oh, you know, they rush for 2 minutes. Even the nurse practitioners used to take longer. They don't anymore. I remember when I went one time to my old hometown. It was probably, I don't know, less than 20 years ago, I guess. And less than 10, well, I'd say 15 maybe. And the doctor there, she was actually a DO. And she spent 45 minutes with me. I was like, wow. She's very thorough, asking me questions, getting all the H&P and all of it, you know, everything that she could. You know, and actually letting me speak. The ones over here, they don't let me speak. Some people might say, well, that's because you talk too much, you know, or too slow, or too fast, or too. I've had people tell me I talk too slow. I've had people say I speak too fast. You know, it's always going to be a finger at you instead of them taking 2 minutes consistently. Different doctors across different practices over many years. You get my point? Yeah, but seriously, I tried to ask a question, and they just didn't want to listen. They were too busy, probably texting somebody in their mind, you know. But yeah, that was just, so I finally found out, yeah, it's like where my dad injected his. Okay, where my mother, I never was around her when she did her injections, but I wasn't with her when she did it. My dad, I knew how he did his, where he did. I saw him do it over many years. He lost one of his legs to diabetes, by the way. He was losing his other one. Well, he was losing his foot on his, you know, the only foot he had left, literally. And that's when he died. And some say that he just gave up. There's more to that story too, though. But anyway, I've mentioned before, my mother called him a pituitary giant. I didn't think that was real, and plus they have to be 7 feet tall or taller. He would only admit to 6'7". So, I'm the third tallest in our family. Anyway, he was the tallest. My brother is the next. So anyway, like I said, I'm a gentle giant. But anyway, boy, I'm kind of rambling. It's just good to be outside, actually. After all those phone calls and talk to all these different people, trying to get the right answers. You know, if I call for people outside of here, I'll get answers, finally. Life in Narcissismville, like I say. Okay, anyway, the one doctor before that, the whole practice there, they would say, well, you need to take insulin, you can get it over the counter. And that was it. They wouldn't talk about how you do it, when you do it, how often you do it, none of that. None of it. One of them actually told me to ask the pharmacist, so I did. The pharmacist is just going to show me how I put it in the needle, you know, how I do the bottle, because they can't, you know, because of, what is it, liability or something like that, risk. Show me. I needed somebody to show me. Show me, and then let me do it. Let me actually insert it and say if I'm doing it right or doing it wrong or what I should watch for. What about bubbles? One of the first problems I had was I had bubbles in the syringe. I'm like, well, what am I supposed to do with this? You would think I'd be able to figure it out. But it was like, I don't know. I had to ask somebody. I had to ask a pharmacist. Oh, well, you just do this, that, you know. Anyway. But I had asked a bunch of questions while I was there, you know. I told them, I said, I have some questions. But, man, they rushed me through them so fast. You know, that's how they talk to. What? The nurse practitioner I saw the week before I said, I want somebody to show me. At some point I looked at her. That's when I had bumped my head. And I looked at her and I said, that's a lot for me to take in. Because they talk so fast so they can get that whole 2 minutes in without me speaking and then just rush out the door. And that's what they do. You know, when you're going to see a doctor, you have a rare health condition, you need to ask questions. It shouldn't be 2 minutes of them speaking and then they just walk out. Well, the so-and-so will be in here to, you know, whatever. And then usually there's nothing that the so-and-so has to do except to come in and say, okay, I'll show you the front door, you know, or we can check, you can go out now. Well, why did you have me sit here if I could walk out with you? Yeah, they must be writing up 2 minutes worth of notes. Probably takes them more than 2 minutes to write them. Boy, woo-wee. Well, I feel that way, but I still don't know more than the healthcare professionals. I just wish they'd take longer and listen. Allow somebody to ask questions, answer those questions, and listen again if they have another question. Not just speak the whole time as if it's all about what you want to say, and then walk out the door. I've said that before. I'll probably say it again. That's one of these days. I just move outside, move out of the, you know, that's the thing is I don't like living in a city. This is actually a city suburb of Dallas. City all to itself. Pretty big one. And we live in the exurbs of it. Exurbs. But, he likes the city life. I don't. I do not so much. But I've thought about it. You know. We had thought about buying a summer home, something like that. So if we ever do, it's not. We almost did. We actually spoke to the realtor and everything. We didn't go through with it though. And but yeah, it was out in the country. It was a country part of the city. It was not a huge city either. I'd be fine with a small city. You know. Anyway, I'm wrapping this up. I'll talk to you on another video. Bye.